Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to, well, this isn't a Fallout bar, but I didn't really know what intro to play because we don't have one made specifically for the World Championship draw.
Amazing.
But we are back here at Online Darts ahead of the PDC World Championship draw. Myself, Jack Gobigawa, joined by Mr. Dan Simpson and Liam. How are we both doing, gents?
Very well.
Very good.
Solid. Right, let's have a quick chat about the qualifiers today. I'm not sure how much you two have seen, and I probably should have prepped you about this when we've just spent the last 5 minutes chatting, but I'm still trying to write out the draw bracket old school, just so we can keep up with it. So, Dan, we'll start with you. Big win to Ryan Joyce. He was only £250 off qualifying outright anyway, so that is probably one of the more justified qualifications of the lot. Jeff Smith has had his troubles this year with travel issues, etc. So he's probably deserved a shot as well. But the big story of the day, I think, Richie Burnett rolling back the years.
Yeah, and I did. To be honest, I didn't get to see any of it. I've been at work all day, so I saw the results. I did call Richie Burnett before we got underway. I think you might have even read that out on the stream. So I went two out of three. I managed to get right today. I think. Personally, whilst I fancied Richie Burnett to do a bit, I think if in terms of who I thought the out-and-out favourite was today, then I definitely think it was Ryan Joyce. It seems to be like he was there or thereabouts anyway, and he's been in some really good form. We saw some great darts from him over the weekend. So I definitely had him pegged as the favourite in that. Jeff Smith, I wasn't sure. I think I felt like he could have gone either way today in that he could have gone out in the first round, or he could have been amazing and smashed it. And he's obviously played really well and come through it. And I was really happy to see it. I bumped into Jeff this time last year in Minehead, and he's a really nice fella. So yeah, it was really nice. I was pleased to see the three that came through. When I checked the results, it was a good result.
Yeah, and at the other end of that, Liam, I guess the conversation is about players that, by not qualifying for the World Championships, have lost their tour card, perhaps most high profile. And there's a reason I went this way round, so we don't reduce Dan to tears. Mr. Glenn Doran has fallen off the PDC tour after a whirlwind 5 or 6 years, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was always going to be a shame. I think it was inevitable for Duzza that he was going to lose it, and maybe a relief in some ways that the pressure's finally off and he can start getting back to enjoying his darts again and hopefully getting back to somewhere near the levels that we've seen from him in the past. I mean, just has to build himself up now. A couple of the ex-BDO World Champions went early doors today, Scott Waits and Mitchell as well. But look, yeah, Duzza can just build himself up again now, start enjoying his darts outside of the PDC, because that pressure environment is, I mean, it's dog eat dog each week. They're playing. So look, I think he'll be quietly happy but disappointed at the same time.
Yeah, I think there is one thing to clarify at that point as well. Glenn's initial statement / tweet said that he was finished as a professional dart player, but he has not fully retired. I think there was a little bit of misunderstanding for some people at that point. Glenn's opinion has always very much been that the PDC is a professional. Everything else is pretty much non-professional. He carried that mantle even as a BDO, Lakeside World Champion, etc. So, but I don't think that's the last we're going to see of Glenn Doran at all. We're potentially a few minutes away from the draw. We're still waiting for it to go live. It will be on Sky Sports News. So we're going to react to it as it happens. Liam is our man who's going to be calling it out because he actually pays for Sky on the TV that he can see. Simpson Man, of course, has Sky. But in the 400 rooms in Dan's house, he's managed to sit in the only one that doesn't have it. So he's going to have it on his iPad as well, just in case. I do currently have the Sky Sports News YouTube stream waiting to start on mine, but I fear for my internet at that point. So I'll probably cut that off, rely on you two. We will call out all of the games as we see them. I believe it is in draw bracket order, gents. So Gerwin Price will know his potential opponent very, very soon. And Chris Dobie has potentially 10 to 15 minutes more to wait because he will be the last name at the bottom of the bracket.
Yeah, I just wonder how many of them are tuning in now, eagerly awaiting to see who they draw out of the field.
That should be very, very interesting. One quick request, folks. If any of you somehow are ahead of us. If you're doing a watch along with us, please do not spoil in the chat room. I think that would ruin a little bit of the fun of what we're trying to do here. We're going to react to it. We want to bring everybody the same thing. If you are watching on Sky, look, there is going to be a delay between Liam seeing it on Sky, telling us about it, and then this transmission getting to you however you are watching. There'll be a couple 10, 20, 30-second delay between us talking live and it actually hitting YouTube. So please don't fire into the chat room until we have called something out as a fixture. I think that's a fair request to everybody. There's plenty of you sat here watching it. A lot of you, well, if you're in the chat room, you're a subscriber. So we really do appreciate you being part of Online Darts. If you're not in the chat room and you do want to get involved, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are very, very close to 30,000. If we can hit that before the World Championships begins, we'll be very, very grateful indeed. There may even be a giveaway involved. I'll tease that just a little bit, but you know how we do it here at Online Darts. So please, please don't spoil the draw as we react to it live. Look, we appreciate it's going to be absolutely everywhere. There is, I'd like to say there's nothing bigger right now, but the FA Cup third round draw is also this evening, and we're currently waiting for Portugal versus Uruguay to kick off in the football. Dan, you somehow managed to mute yourself, so solid work, mate. I'll unmute you. Oh no, you chose to mute yourself. What have you done, Dan? That's our backup gone.
I'm back. Sorry, I was flicking around. What I had to do is I had to open up, believe it or not, this stream on this computer so that I can see the chat room. I couldn't see the chat room, so but I didn't want us all repeating ourselves through it. So I thought I'll make sure I mute myself. I'm prone to a technical glitch, aren't I?
So I've only ever seen the presenting side of this software. Can you not see the chat room from inside the software that we use for this stream?
No. Well, unless someone's going to tell me there's a button I should have clicked a year and a half ago.
I don't know. I've not seen that side. Phil's just said, here we go. So I think, Liam, they're about to see the draw.
Yeah, they have a promotional ad on the telly at the moment. Michael Bridge was just on screen a second ago. So I reckon they're just going to introduce the people doing the draw.
Do we know who's doing it yet?
Mardell anyway is there as one of them.
Here we go then. So we're going to lean on Liam for this.
Are we up and running? Are we on the screen?
Well.
Yeah, we can see the trophy in front of me.
Oh, there we go. How exciting, eh?
I will say this. Once this draw is finished, I will allow conversation about Christmas. The World Championships is Christmas. Right? So, Phil, you're excused as of about 10 minutes' time.
See, I think it's the drive. I think Phil gets it. The drive home from Minehead. That's when the Christmas songs can come on. That's because that is it's
only if he puts Chris Rea on repeat for 5 hours.
He's not driving home for Christmas, so he's got about another 10,000 miles to do before he can drive home.
And the rest. Some notable numbers just before they start. Number 1 is Josh Rock. Keep your eyes on number 40, Bo Greaves. Where else have we got? Number 58 is Fallon Sherrock. Interesting number 25, Cameron Menzies as well. Let's keep an eye on him. Simon Whitlock, number 13. Steve Beaton, staying alive, number 11.
We just have Mardell.
It's terrible.
Mardell and Webby just saying a few words on screen at the moment, so I'm sure it'll be underway shortly.
Evening, Mace. Oh, I'm not sure about that. That's a little bit rude. Not that you're ever at home for Christmas. tension now, isn't there? Are you boys as excited as I am? I'm not just making this up. I'm genuinely like quite nervous now. Like this sets the tone for the next 5 weeks of darting conversation.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's the amount that every single one of these balls is about to be picked apart for the next 5 weeks. Is that's what I'm most excited for. I think it's the complete chaos that's going to erupt across darting Twitter and darting all time.
We're underway.
Oh, here we go.
Number 26, Luke Woodhouse.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness, Vladislav Omlachenko. If that was the Ukrainian, I definitely messed that one up. So it's Ryan Meikle to face Lisa Ashton.
Ooh. And that's for the right to play Barney as well. Woo-hoo!
So Adam Gaulas face Richie Burnett.
Oh, clash of pace in that one for the right to play Ryan Searle. So next up for Jose de Souza.
Or Simon Whitlock.
Ooh, Whitlock.
Christian Perez.
Whitlock or Perez to face Jose de Souza.
Number 8, Jim Williams will face Sebastian Bialecci.
Ooh, the winner of that plays James Wade.
Ooh, great game.
Number 10, William O'Connor will face number 40, Bo Greaves.
Oh, that's for the right to play Gabriel Clemens. That's winnable.
Oh, wow.
So number 23, Richie Edhouse will play number 37, David Cameron.
Oh, the Seniors Masters champion.
So Alan Souter next out. He will play Mal Cumming.
That one's for the right to play Daryl Gurney. Next up for Michael Smith. So we're moving to the second quarter of the draw.
Number 12, Jermaine Watamina will face number 55, Nathan Rafferty.
Oh, imagine it.
Number 3, Martin Lukeman will face
Schindler.
Number 64, Nobuhiro Yamoto. Sorry, there's another name mixed up. Number 16, Ricky Evans.
This is for Cullen.
To play Fallon Sherrock.
Wow.
Number 5, Adrian Lewis will face Danielle Larson.
I tell you, we won't like the look of that. Damon Hetta, who is that one's fixture.
Oh, that's big.
Struggling on TV and you get AD Lewis at the Worlds.
Keegan Brown will face Florian Hempel.
Was that Keegan?
Keegan Brown, yeah. So number 25, Cameron Menzies will play number 54, Diogo Portela.
That's to play Vincent van der Voort.
Number 2, Andrew Gilding.
It's to play Chisholm.
Number 50, Robert Owen.
It's a nice little battle.
Number 28, Garton Inches will play number 39, Leonard Gates.
And that's to play Bunting. That's the top half of the draw complete. We're halfway through.
Number 27, Mickey Mansell will play number 56, Ben Robb.
That's to play Peter Wright.
Number 14, Keane Barry will face Grant Sampson.
That's to play against Kim Hybrex.
Number 6, Robbie John Rodriguez.
Ooh.
Face Lawrence Alagan.
That's tasty, because the winner of that plays Dimitri as well.
Number 21, Danny Jansen.
The mullet.
Will face Paolo Nebrida. I definitely should have gone over some of these names before starting. Number 11, Steve Beaton, the Adonis, will play Danny Van Tripp.
Oh, that's a cracking game, that.
The winner of that plays Johnny Clayton.
That's an even cracking
Number
game.
19, Jamie Hughes, will face number 43, Jimi Hendrix.
That's to play Dolan. Next up is Aspinall.
Number 24, Boris Karchmar, will face Toro Suzuki. Number 1, Josh Rock,
Ooh.
will face Jose Justicia.
Oh my. Rock versus Justicia for the right to play Callan Rids.
Number 29, Neil Zonneveld, will play number 63, Louis Williams.
That's to play MVG.
Number 22, Mike De Decker,
This
will
is to play
face
Sulovic.
number 59, Jeff Smith, who just qualified today. Number 18, Karl Sedlicic, will play number 60, Raymond Smith.
Raymond Smith was a revelation last year.
Yeah,
And Divenboder are waiting.
Number 31, John O'Shea, will face number 48, Darius Labanauskas.
Oh, that's a tough one.
That's a horrid part of the draw because that's Van Divenboder and Ross Smith as your 2 seeded players as well.
And Scott Williams will face number 46, Ryan Joyce. Ooh.
Williams versus Joyce for the right to play Rob Cross, Scott Williams' practice partner.
Matt Campbell will face number 34, Danny Baggish. Ooh.
Oh,
Versus America
all North American clash there.
to play Mervyn King. That's winnable at the minute.
Number 4, Rasma, will play Prakesh Jiwa.
And then the last one to play Chris Doby.
Martine Clairmacher will face Ji Sheng Han.
Yeah.
I hope you boys got a chance to write some of them down because I got no names.
I don't know. Look at that. Look how old school that is. It's there.
I'm all written out.
Right. Daniel Simpson. Pick the bones out of that one.
Oh,
While we give Liam a chance to find a graphic.
do we start with in the most obvious place to start? Do we start with William O'Connor?
I think we do.
It's the thing is that William O'Connor, like Bo Greaves, could have got an awful lot of a better draw there. Like that is not like if you were to. I don't think it's an easy draw at all. William O'Connor has had some superb displays on television stages in the last couple of years and just has the ability to turn it on. Now, what that makes for darts fans is potentially the game of the opening round. That could be an absolute stormer of a game. If they both turn up, it's going to be an absolute cracker, that one.
It is a positive. I don't want to be too disrespectful here, but a lot of people asked me earlier on while the qualifier was going on, which of the 32 players I'd like to have a crack at as the seeds. And Gabriel Clemens is one of those that I picked at. So the reward is a winnable tie in the following round as well. I think
Absolutely.
You can get Clemens up on that stage. He's got the history of losing to Fallon at the Grand Slam in that spectacular fashion where she takes that 170 on the bull as well. So to then have the possibility of playing either O'Connor, who we know how solid he can be on TV, or Bo Greaves is not a nice tie for Gabriel Clemens at that point.
Absolutely not at all. Like on any day of the year, on a television match, O'Connor against Clemens, like I'm saying it's a bit of a toss of a coin. Yeah. Like I don't, like granted one of them seeded there, but the way that things are at the minute, I'd probably make O'Connor a marginal favourite, personally. But yeah, absolute cracker of a game. And again, I mean, we're sticking to a bit of a pattern, but I think Meikle against Lisa Ashton is going to be a battle as well. A real battle.
Right, let's have a look at the defending champ. To be honest, Peter Wright. He is defending champ, but he is obviously seeded number 2 for this one. Potential matchup against Mickey Mansell or Ben Robb. Now, that won't be the quickest match in the first round. They're both quite methodical. But do we see... Well, that'll also be the opening match of the World Championship, won't it? That's the only guarantee we know, is that will be the opening match of the World Championship. And the winner of that will come back to play Peter Wright in the final match of the first night.
Yeah, I mean, that you'd suspect that Mickey Mansell would be the favourite going into that one. I mean, that's not an easy draw either for Peter Wright, especially his lack of practice. Obviously withdrew last weekend due to personal issues, but you could see Peter Wright coming a little bit cold into the World Championship potentially. Not the ideal preparation that he would have wanted. So, I mean, and any first now, it's always tricky to win 2 matches in the one evening, but you could argue that on the other side of the coin that they'll have exposure on the stage and will have a bit of a warm-up going into that match. So you just never know.
You never know, indeed. Let's stick with the theme of the female player, shall we? This is the first time that there have been 3 involved at one World Championship. We've already touched on Bo Grooves. Let's have a look at Lisa Ashton. Still yet to get over the line in a PDC World Championship. Tough assignment against Ryan Meikle, who has been incredibly steady so far this year, Liam.
Yeah, tough assignment, tough draw that up for Lisa. But look, we saw some signs. We've seen it recently in the live league and in the Grand Slam. She was unlucky really not to beat Cullen. She had him in all sorts of bother in the group stages. So she'll take confidence from her recent upturn in form. And look, she's nothing to lose again. You'd like to think that she'd start upping her game a little bit on TV. She's probably been poor for her standards in recent events on TV. But look, again, nothing to lose. She might as well go for it. And you never know, she might spring a surprise.
Yeah, she did reach the semi-finals of she reached the finals night of the Super Series on Saturday night, but was beaten 4-3 in both of her group matches. Hopefully she can go one better this time. Then obviously a lot of controversy surrounding the inclusion of Fallon Sherrock. She has not been handed a nice tie at all. Ricky Evans to start, with the potential of Joe Cullen sat waiting in the round afterwards as well. Just 2 solid professionals.
Yeah, and I don't think as well that the style of player that Ricky Evans is not at all ideal for Fallon in that situation, because if she starts to miss, or if Ricky starts to throw well, he's so fast and he gets through legs so quickly that it can be difficult to find some composure when you get behind against him. And I think that with everything that's going on, with all the pressure that's on, that's about as bad a draw as she could have got, not just because of his ability as a darts player, but I just think the style that he plays and the speed that he throws at doesn't help when you need to compose yourself in a situation.
No, it doesn't at all. Let's talk the favourite for the tournament, Michael van Gerwen will take on Niels Zonneveld, or I've written Williams, but I know there was 2 in the draw. Scott Williams, was it?
Yeah.
Should have put an S next to that, bearing in mind there's a Jim Williams in there. It's a tough little battle, if that's Scott.
Absolutely.
Not more importantly, but did you see how close we were? And it's in the chat room as well. We were 1 round of balls away from that being MVG Josh Rock. And instead, Rock drops into the complete opposite quarter and they can't meet until the semi-finals.
Oh, that is interesting. That was close, wasn't it?
Very close.
Whoa.
Very close to Rock MVG once again. And Josh has done a fair bit of talking, by the way. The minute he won the World Youth Championship, the first thing he did was throw a bit of shade, saying that Michael hadn't won one. He did correct it and have a joke, saying he'd rather have 3 World Championships, but there's a little bit of a rivalry brewing between those 2 players at the minute.
Certainly is, and long may it continue. It's good, it's entertaining, it's good for the sport, probably good for both of them as well. So yeah, long may it continue, I think. But Josh Rock, speaking of Josh Rock, he Callan Ridge isn't going to be a pushover if he comes through Jose Justicia. I think that could be a really exciting game. Josh Rock and Callan Ridge, two young players that have potential to score really high as well. That could be another absolute belter of a match. That.
Yeah, and I don't think Justicia is a foregone conclusion as well. I think that's a tricky tie. We know what Jose is capable of, so I think that's a tricky one. That's another good first round match.
Just a couple more from me before we do wrap it up for this evening. I don't want to get too deep into this, but I appreciate that we probably won't hear from you guys again until we ask all of the team to record clips ahead of our World Championship preview show in a fortnight's time. Let's have a quick look. Let's start with Damon Heta, number 1 seed for the Players' Championship. Unbelievable form on the floor. Has been handed a tough assignment if it's Adrian Lewis versus Daniel Larsson. First of all, if Daniel Larsson gets past Adrian Lewis, it's a tough assignment no matter what. But secondly, a resurgent Lewis back at Alexandra Palace, who has produced a couple of runs this year, is not what you want in your first round of World Championship when everybody is questioning your TV form right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's tricky to play a 2-time world champion in your first match for Damon Heta if he manages to come through. I mean, he hasn't had his way on TV recently. There's been question marks around him, and it's not going to get any easier if Lewis does manage to come through that match, because he'll fight to the end to try and gain a victory there. So I mean, that's probably as tough as it could have got really out of the first round draw there for Heta, providing Lewis comes through.
Yeah, and personally, one last thing to finish, but I think this is the most exciting part of the draw. It's where we find Dirk van Dijvenbode and Ross Smith as the seed. So Dirk van Dijvenbode will play the winner of Karel Sedlacek or Raymond Smith, who was a bit of a revelation last year. And Ross Smith has got John O'Shea or Darius Labanauskas. Just awkward all around for both of those two seeded players.
Yeah. And I mean, that section of the draw, I mean, there's some really tasty players in there. Rasma, Matt Campbell, Scott Williams, Ryan Joyce, Jeff Smith. I mean, there's some real, in that particular section, there's some real capable players in there. I mean, all capable of causing an upset. So, I mean, that's going to be a really tricky one to come out of.
Yes, it is. Right, guys, thank you very much for joining me to live react to the PDC World Championship draw. Really do appreciate both of your company. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll be back at 8 o'clock, myself, Phil Bars and Mr. Lee Boyce. For the standard Fallout bar, we'll be looking back at the Players' Championship over the weekend. The fact Marco van Gerwen is closing in on top spot. We'll have a little bit more reaction of this draw once you've had a bit more time to dissect it. But we won't be going through it in full. We're going to save that for our World Championship preview show, which I believe will be in a fortnight's time. Next week, we are in discussion about potentially having a quiz of the year so far, just as a look back before we get anywhere. We've just got to find a quiz master or somebody to actually write it. But we'll get to that point. We will get to that point before next week, and we will tell you what our plans are very, very shortly. But a massive thank you to everybody for joining us here for the draw. We really do appreciate your company once again. Big thanks to Dan and Liam. Hopefully we'll see you guys very, very soon. And big thanks to, I'll be back in about an hour and a half's time. So we'll see you all very, very soon, guys.